They say reputation is everything, but what happens when your country becomes globally infamous for scams? From billion-dollar banking frauds to medical trial fakery, from fake tech support calls to pandemic loan thefts, India and its diaspora have been caught red-handed in scandal after scandal.
Oh my God.
And we're not just talking about one-off cases. This is a pattern, a culture, and it's not going unnoticed. Let's be brutally honest. India is developing a global image problem, and that image is starting to look a lot like a con artist in a cheap suit. Take the case of Tonmoy Sharma, an Indian-origin psychiatrist in California. He was exposed in 2023 for falsifying clinical trial data in major pharmaceutical studies, which resulted in a $149 million fraud, one of the largest of its kind. This wasn't some back-alley hustle. These were medical trials with real-world health consequences. And it's not his first offense. He'd already been banned in the United Kingdom, but instead of disappearing, he found fertile ground in the U.S. system. That's not just unethical, that's terrifying. And in another similar case, Mona Ghosh, an Indian-American physician, recently received a 10-year jail sentence for healthcare fraud. She submitted false medical claims for services and procedures that were either not provided or not medically necessary, which endangered the health of her patients. Basically, she broke all trust with her patients and insurers and defrauded the system at the expense of her patients' health. Then there's the ABG Shipyard scam. 22,842 crore rupees gone. That's over $2.5 million US dollars. Poof. Vanished. One of India's biggest ever bank frauds. It involved 28 banks, including SBI. And it wasn't even clever, just good old-fashioned loan siphoning. Or the DHFL case, where the Wadhawan brothers created over 260,000 fake borrowers and routed 34,000 crore rupees through shell companies. The numbers are so big they don't even feel real anymore. But maybe you're thinking, well, these are just a few bad apples. Let's keep going. In 2022, the former CEO of the National Stock Exchange of India, Chitra Ramkrishna, was caught giving confidential info to a so-called Himalayan yogi. No joke. The head of India's top stock exchange was literally taking orders from a mysterious email account she believed was a god-man. This isn't a Netflix series, this actually happened. And it blows my mind that anyone in such high positions could even fall for such scams in the first place. I mean, seriously? The CEO of the National Stock Exchange of India? What if the scammer told them to bathe in cow dung and drink urine to cure cancer? Would they do that? Another example is Baiju, India's edtech darling, which, really crumbled under scrutiny. Once valued at over $20 billion, the company was accused of hiding losses, inflating revenue, and defaulting on a $1.2 billion loan. Deloitte walked out. Investors panicked. It's not just a bad look. It shows how little oversight there is in India's startup boom. And let's not forget Ramesh Balwani, the Indian-American COO of Theranos. He wasn't just Elizabeth Holmes' sidekick. He was instrumental in one of Silicon Valley's most infamous frauds. Convicted and sentenced to over 13 years in prison, his actions reinforced a stereotype that's been building for years, that Indians, no matter where they go, bring with them a shady playbook. That's not all. The U.S. has been cracking down on Indian-origin fraudsters, especially those who abused COVID-era relief programs. In New Jersey, Texas, California, you name it, dozens of Indian Americans were arrested for faking Paycheck Protection Program loans. Millions of dollars were stolen by people who claimed to be helping their communities but were actually buying Teslas and crypto. Then we have the infamous Apple charity scam, where Indian Apple tech support workers were abusing the company's charity match program, where a portion of their salary can be donated tax-free to a charity of their choice, with Apple matching the donation. So what did they do? Of course, they worked together to set up a fake charity so that they could all donate to it and keep the money while defrauding Apple. They were caught and fired in the end, but it leaves a lasting image for their Indian compatriots that's hard to shake off. And what about the constant stream of Indian-run call centers that scam elderly Americans by pretending to be from the IRS or tech support? These aren't fringe criminals. This is an entire ecosystem. Recruiters, trainers, managers, money mules. There are YouTube channels now dedicated to baiting and exposing Indian scammers, and to be honest, they're quite fun to watch. That's how bad it is. Even in entertainment, the rot shows. Raj Kundra, husband of Bollywood star Shilpa Shetty, was arrested for running a porn app racket, distributing obscene content through US-based platforms. It's tacky, shady, and of course, illegal. It's as if they think that this counts as economic activity. It suggested that 0.7% of India's GDP is lost due to cyber fraud. And that's just cyber, not accounting for phone scams or in-real-life scams. This scam culture has consequences, real ones. International media from CNN to the BBC to Al Jazeera have started to link India with financial crime, tech fraud, and corporate dishonesty. Indian citizens are now seen through a suspicious lens. Visa applications are scrutinized harder. Businesses get fewer trust-based contracts. Ask anyone on the streets of Europe or America about their immediate thoughts on Indians, and most will answer with one word: scammers. And worst of all, Indians abroad who are actually honest have to work twice as hard to prove they're not part of this circus. They suffer verbal and sometimes even physical abuse because of this tarnished image. And guess who's using this to justify harsh policies? People like Donald Trump. His administration deported over 50,000 Indians in just 4 years in his first term, many of them under immigration fraud or visa violations. And now he's in power again, and his second round of deportations are going harder than ever. We've all seen the videos of immigrants lined up, waiting to board a plane, chained up like cattle. While Trump's tactics are extreme, it's hard to ignore that these scams gave him political ammunition. They made it easy for Americans to say, see, they're not here to contribute, they're here to cheat, to lie, to defraud the system and people. And what's worse is that Indian netizens often celebrate these people. When someone scams a bank or gets away with $1 billion fraud, there's no shame, just memes, admiration, and he played the system nonsense. Are you serious? Scamming isn't a skill, it's not hustle, it's not innovation, it's theft. It adds zero value to the economy. It destroys trust. It makes investment and reform harder. And bragging about it online only deepens the rot. But we all know that the bragrats can't help themselves as they shout Jai Hind while spamming online. India isn't going to earn global respect through jugaad and shady shortcuts. That golden age everyone talks about, the Viksit Bharat dream, it's not going to be built on fraud and Photoshop. Until Indians start calling out this behavior, not celebrating it, the world is going to keep seeing Indians in the same way, as clever con men, not capable partners. And honestly, can you really blame them? If you found this video eye-opening, hit that subscribe button. We've got more truth bombs coming your way. Thanks for watching.